Your one click on the subscribe button makes a huge difference. Thank you for your kind support.
Early in Sinners, Sammie's preacher father delivers an ominous warning that echoes throughout the film. You keep dancing with the devil, one day he's going to follow you home. This seemingly simple statement functions as both literal foreshadowing and a rich metaphorical framework for understanding the film's exploration of art, temptation, and consequences. On the most immediate level, the warning predicts the supernatural horror that unfolds. Sammie's blues music at Club Juke indeed attracts Remick and his vampires, literal manifestations of evil that follow the characters and ultimately invade their sanctuary. The film's opening narration establishes that musicians with Sammie's gift can pierce the veil between life and death. But this power also attracts evil. His father's warning proves prophetic, as Sammie's musical talents draw Remick directly to him. But beyond this straightforward reading, the father's warning speaks to the film's deeper themes about artistic expression and societal constraints. For Sammie's preacher father, blues music itself represents the devil, a sinful pursuit that threatens moral and spiritual well-being. This perspective reflects historical tensions between religious institutions and blues musicians, whose art was often labeled the devil's music by church leaders in early 20th century black communities. The film presents this conflict without offering easy judgments. Sammie's musical gift brings joy, connection, and temporary freedom to the juke joint patrons. Yet it also inadvertently creates danger by drawing supernatural threats. This duality mirrors how artistic expression can both liberate and create vulnerability in marginalized communities, providing essential cultural spaces while sometimes drawing unwanted attention from oppressive forces. The phrase, "follow you home," carries special weight in a film deeply concerned with questions of belonging and sanctuary. For the characters in Sinners, establishing a home, a safe space for authentic expression and community, is a revolutionary act in 1930s Mississippi. The twins' purchase of the mill to create Club Juke represents their attempt to carve out such a sanctuary. The father's warning suggests that certain choices might compromise the safety of these hard-won spaces. Interestingly, the vampiric threat in Sinners requires invitation to cross thresholds. It cannot simply follow anyone home without consent. This rule adds nuance to the father's warning, suggesting that merely engaging with the devil, whether literal supernatural forces or metaphorical temptations, doesn't automatically lead to destruction. Rather, it creates vulnerability that requires vigilance and boundaries to manage. The warning also connects to the film's exploration of intergenerational trauma and historical violence. Throughout American history, black communities have faced consequences for self-expression and autonomy, with spaces of joy and freedom often becoming targets for white supremacist violence. This is literally depicted when Hogwood and the Klan attack the juke joint after the vampire threat is defeated. The devil follows not just as supernatural horror but as the very real threat of racial violence. By the film's end, Sammie does return to his father's church, but not to surrender his music, rather to display the evidence of his ordeal and perhaps seek understanding. The broken guitar and his physical scars represent the cost of his experience, potentially validating his father's warning while not necessarily endorsing his solution, abandoning music altogether. The mid-credits scene, set in 1992, shows that Sammie ultimately chose his musical calling despite his father's warnings. He's become a successful blues musician, suggesting that he found a way to pursue his passion without being destroyed by it. When Stack and Mary visit him and offer immortality, Sammie refuses, demonstrating that he's learned to engage with darkness without surrendering to it. He's learned to dance with the devil without inviting it home. In this light, the father's warning represents not just religious dogma but a distorted recognition of real dangers facing black artists and communities. The film suggests that while the warning contains truth, the solution isn't abandoning authentic expression but rather finding ways to create art and community, while maintaining boundaries against forces that would exploit or destroy them.